Most people collecting watches under $1,000 climb the exact same ladder, but the majority of them get trapped at the bottom, fooled by beautiful packaging and impressive specs that end up worth absolutely nothing in 3 years. To beat the system, you only need to know the exact milestones. From a $100 atomic instrument that will outlive steel, to our number one spot, a sub-$500 icon that actually went to the moon and remains the only budget watch that Patek Philippe collectors genuinely respect. At number 8, the Seiko SPB143. This is the watch that makes $875 feel dishonest, because it should cost more. This watch is a direct descendant of the 62 MAS, Seiko's very first diver, released in 1965. The cushion case, the chapter ring, the snowflake hands, none of these are recent design decisions. They are original engineering choices from 6 decades ago, restored rather than reinvented. Think about what that means. The design you're looking at was considered, tested, and refined before most of the watch brands posting Instagram content today even existed. Seiko makes its own movements, its own lubricants, its own crystals. Over a century of in-house manufacturing backs every component in this watch. The finishing on the case, the weight of the bracelet, the fit of the bezel, none of it reads like an $875 product. Imagine strapping on a piece of watch history every single morning. A design born in 1965, refined for 60 years, sitting on your wrist for under $900. Strap it on. Go live your life. Come back in 10 years and find it exactly where you left it. At number 7, the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. If you have never seen this watch in person, prepare yourself. Around $775, this watch does something that should not be possible. It looks like it costs twice the price. The integrated bracelet, brushed, polished, flush at the lug, reads like something from a brand charging $1,500. Comparable finishing from any competitor at this price simply does not exist. The movement is a proven automatic with a silicone hairspring and 80 hours of power reserve. More than 3 days without winding. And that dial? It traces back to a 1970s Tissot original. Not a reinterpretation. A restoration. It was not designed to be timeless. It just is. This is the watch that makes people think you spent more. Buy it once, wear it for a decade, and let the bracelet age with you. At number 6, the Hamilton Khaki Field Murph 38mm. If you have seen Interstellar, you already know this watch. If you have not, here is what matters. 38mm case diameter, no date. A single clean dial with cathedral hands that traces back to military field watches, built before anyone cared about aesthetics. Hamilton has been making movements since 1892. That history has a floor it does not drop below. Here is what makes this watch genuinely special. The decision to remove the date was the best design choice on the dial. The date is the element that ages watches fastest. It creates alignment anxiety, anchors the design to an era, cheapens whatever surrounds it. Without it, this dial looks exactly the same in 2036 as it does today. The movement in lineage is identical to what powers Swiss watches 3 times this price. The Murph is for the person who has stopped caring about what is trending and started caring about what holds up. 10 years from now, you will still reach for it first. At number 4, the Seiko 5 Sports SSK GMT. And this one answers a question most watch buyers do not even know to ask. What is the best mechanical GMT watch under $1,000 that is actually built to last? This. A 42.5mm case, 200-meter water resistance, and a 24-hour rotating bezel that tracks a second time zone mechanically, directly without an app or a crown pull sequence. You rotate the bezel, you read the hand. That is it. At this price, a mechanical GMT with this level of finishing and service infrastructure does not have a real competitor. The alternatives, reworked platforms, Chinese movement GMTs, none of them come close in build quality or long-term reliability. And the GMT complication does not age. In 2036, it is just as useful as today because it solves a real problem without decoration. This is the watch for someone who crosses time zones and wants the answer on their wrist, not their phone. If you had to pick just one watch from this list to wear every day for the next decade, which one will you choose? Drop the name in the comments right now. We will come back to that at the end. At number 5, the Casio G-Shock GW-M5610U. And before you scroll past, hear me out. This watch costs less than a dinner for two. It is also, and I mean this, the most accurate timekeeping instrument on this entire list. That gap should not be possible, but it is. Here is what nobody tells you about this watch. It does not approximate the time, it receives it. In Japan, the US, the UK, Germany, and China, this watch syncs to atomic time automatically. No winding, no setting, no intervention. The G-Shock platform has been running continuously since 1983. Casio has had 4 decades to solve every engineering problem this watch will encounter. There are none left. Resin does not corrode or scratch like metal. Under genuine daily abuse, construction, travel, water, fieldwork, this watch asks nothing from the owner. A steel watch at $1,000 demands more care than this one at $110. And here is the thing. Most people on this list will occasionally protect their other watches. They will think twice before certain environments. The G-Shock removes that calculation entirely. At number 3, the Certina DS Action Diver 38mm. And if you have never heard of Certina, that is exactly the point. The watch market has consistently looked past this brand, which is entirely the buyer's gain. 38mm case, 300 meters of water resistance, an 80-hour automatic movement, sapphire crystal, all of it for $920. That combination does not exist anywhere else at this price period. Most competitors at 300 meters are 42 millimeters or larger. This watch dives and fits under a shirt cuff. The ceramic bezel looks the same on year 10 as it did on day 1. Steel bezels start showing wear within 2 years. The movement is shared across multiple Swatch Group brands and costs less to maintain over a decade than most comparable Swiss divers. The double security construction philosophy behind this watch dates to 1959. Engineering decisions made before water resistance was even a marketing feature. The person who buys this watch did the research. They know what it is. They do not need anyone else to recognize the name. They just get to wear a serious Swiss dive and smile every time someone asks what it is. At number 2, the Citizen ProMaster BN0150. And this is the one most people sleep on, because it costs $375 and does not look like it needs to prove anything. But here is what is hiding inside this watch. It runs on light. No battery replacement ever. The EcoDrive platform has been in production since 1976. That is not a new technology being tested. That is a proven system with a track record longer than most watch brands have existed. And this watch is ISO 6425 certified. Not self-reported, third-party verified. That means it passed specific benchmarks for anti-magnetism, shock resistance, loom duration, and water pressure testing. Most watches marketed as divers have never seen that test. This one passed it at $375. Imagine owning a dive watch that never needs a battery, never needs a service appointment for power issues, and passes the same certification test as professional dive instruments. That is the BN0150. It handles whatever the day delivers and never asks for anything back. At number 1, the Bulova Lunar Pilot. The only budget watch that Patek Philippe collectors actually respect. Not because of the price, because of what it did. The movement. Bulova's proprietary 262 kHz caliber, 8 times standard quartz frequency, accurate to 10 seconds per year. Battery lasts 3 years. No winding, no signal required, but that's not why it's number 1. July 1971, Apollo 15. Commander Dave Scott is on the moon. His mission-issued Omega Speedmaster malfunctioned. He reached for his personal watch in a Bulova and wore it for the rest of the moonwalk. Nearly 5 hours on the lunar surface. The Bulova kept time when nothing else could. That's not marketing. That's in the NASA archives. And the watch you can buy today is the direct descendant of that one. Most watches at this price are forgotten in a drawer within a year. Imagine someone at dinner asks about your watch. You say it went to the moon. That line never gets old. No other watch on this list or in this price range can say that. Number 8, the Seiko SPB143. 60 years of heritage. Makes $875 feel dishonest. Number 7, the Tissot PRX. Looks twice the price. Bracelet finishing nobody else touches at this money. Number 6, the Hamilton Murph. Clean, dateless, cinematic. The watch you reach for first. Number 5, the Casio G-Shock. Syncs to atomic time, costs $100 and will outlive every other watch on this list. Number 4, the Seiko SSK GMT. The best mechanical GMT under $1,000. Not even close. Number 3, the Certina DS Action. The most overlooked Swiss diver on the market. 300 meters, ceramic bezel, $920. Number 2, the Citizen ProMaster. ISO certified, solar powered, never needs a battery. The set and forget champion. And number 1, the Bulova Lunar Pilot. It went to the moon, under $500. Every single one of these watches was chosen on 4 things: longevity, brand strength, serviceability, and design that does not expire. These are not watches that are popular right now. These are watches that will still be worth wearing, worth servicing, and worth keeping in 2036. And in this price range, that is rarer than it should be. Which one you would trust on your wrist for the next decade? Drop it in the comments. Not the most impressive answer, the honest one. My personal top 3? The SPB143 for pure watch heritage, the G-Shock for daily use without thinking, and the Lunar Pilot for the story alone. What is yours? If this helped you narrow down your next watch, hit subscribe. I cover the watches that are actually worth your money, not just the ones that are trending. And for the next video, comment Swiss if you want the best Swiss watches under $500, or comment Seiko if you want a deep dive on the full Prospects lineup. See you there.